Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. We discuss 6 questions in 9 minutes because leaders know how to be concise. Let's get started with our guest today. Our first question, in a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
My name is Greg Tarnacki. I'm the founder and executive director of 18 Loop. And 18 Loop is a nonprofit that helps kids with cancer by deploying virtual reality. We help them tolerate treatment, recover, and thrive. And so we have 3 main missions, which is advocacy and awareness, so promoting advocacy for the use of VR with kids with cancer, distribution, which we do through the American Childhood Cancer Organization, and then the work on a research protocol that we're doing to scientifically gather quantitative metrics on what we do. So that's 18 Loop.
That is fantastic. What a worthy cause. Congratulations on that endeavor. I think that's
Yeah,
fantastic.
thanks.
Question number 2, what is the best thing about working with a team?
I think there are a lot of great things about working with teams, but I think one of the great things about our team is that, I think everyone really has so much experience and they're so capable that they may be more capable than I am. So really what I'm doing is keeping them in a position where we can set the agenda and let them do what they do. So we've got a global CIO on our team who's on our board. We've got an MIT engineer. We've got an oncologist that's going to join us. And it's really smart, capable people. So it's always interesting, and it's always something that, if you need to get something done, there's somebody to go to. So it's great.
That's fantastic. I like that. Question number 3, I hear from other leaders of teams that it can be a challenge to get team members engaged. Tell us your thoughts.
Well, I think the pandemic is definitely part of the problem. And what we're doing now is great, but it's always nice to meet with people in person and to get together physically. And our team hasn't gotten together physically since, before March, as probably most people haven't. I think another aspect of that for us is also that we're dealing with myself and a board of directors that gets the work done, and they all have very important other jobs. So it's a matter of getting them focused on what 18 Loop is doing and what the requirements are for 18 Loop, as opposed to it being their sole focus. So we've got a team with a little bit of a split focus, and I have to focus them on what's important for what we're doing.
Great comments. Great comments. Question number 4, what other piece of advice do you have for leaders of teams?
Well, I think one big piece of advice is that you don't have to be the most knowledgeable person in the room. That's not a requirement for being a leader. And I was listening to a talk by Sundar Pichai, who runs Google, and he was talking about how he initially met with the Google founders, and he was concerned that he was running so many teams and he was in so many meetings, and he was not the foremost expert on everything that was happening in Google. And I think that applies in a lot of other situations as well. So as I said, we're working with doctors and we're working with high-level technologists. And it's not important to be the most knowledgeable, but it is important to set the agenda and to keep everyone moving towards the goal. So I think that's one of the key roles as a leader. So in past lives, when I've worked on bigger teams, it's important to lead up and down the chain. So you're leading to the people who are above you, and you're also setting the agenda for the people who are below you. But I think in the case of what we're doing here at 18 Loop, it's really a matter of keeping everyone focused on the mission, considering that it isn't the sole mission that they're focused on day to day. So that's kind of critical for us. And I was a salesperson actually for about 15 years. And what they always tell you in sales is that the most important thing is empathy. So I'll leave you with this, that you have to put yourself in the position of the people that you're trying to help or the people that you're working with, and empathize with them. And I took a course at MIT a little while ago, and one of the things they had found through testing is that women were more empathetic than men on a natural level. So they thought that women might make even better leaders in a lot of situations. So I'll leave it with the fact that we're an all-male team right now, but we're looking to recruit some great women to our team for that and other great reasons.
Oh, that's fantastic. And I completely agree. There's a lot of empathy that is needed in leadership, and that's a key component to successful leadership. Great comments. Thank you. Question number 5, what other successful leaders of teams would you like to recognize that have had a positive influence in your life?
I'd like to recognize one of my board members, Russ Soper. So Russ is a global chief information officer at a financial technology company. And he's been a wonderful mentor. He's been a board of directors chairman for a charity that's much larger than 18 Loop, so his experience is very invaluable to me. And he's certainly someone worth talking to about leadership, because he's led teams and initiatives, and he's done it in the private sector and the nonprofit sector as well.
Well, he sounds like a great individual. Thank you for recognizing him. Our last question, tell us about your first job.
My first job was writing menus for a company that produced menus for airlines. And what was interesting about that is that the first class passengers had many different languages that they spoke. So the people that worked at the menu company were all bi and trilingual. So that aspect of it was sort of interesting. It didn't last very long. I ended up going into technology, but that was my first job.
Wow, that's an interesting job. I've not heard that one before. So very unique, very unique. Excuse me, Greg, thank you so much for being on the podcast today. How can people find you?
We can be found on Twitter at 18loop1, which is 18LOOP1. And we can be found at 18loop.org as well.
Fantastic. This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, you can go to teamengagementpodcast.com. Again, that's teamengagementpodcast.com. Thanks so much for joining us today, and have a great day.